Welcome back to Friday Night Fights, going into week 6, I think. At least it says here day 6. This is a big week for matchups. We got some exciting matchups this week. With me, as always, is Charles.
Hello.
Hey, Charles. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
All right. Everything going good for you down there in Brazil?
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of crazy weather, but it's fine.
Yeah. Awesome.
How about over there?
Oh, I'm in the Midwest. Everything is just great.
Are you guys gonna freeze soon?
No, it's like another 3 months before the cold starts hitting.
Oh, okay.
So we're good. We're tough. We're stout people up here. We're like dwarves ourselves. All right. What we'll do is we'll jump right into our first segment, and we'll come back after these commercial messages with our scorecards. Welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is our scorecard segment. We take a look at the previous week's events, see how they went, who won, who lost, who performed better than expected. So, Charles, who was our matchup of the week last week?
Ars Gotia 1-0 victory over Yeti to Conquer.
All right, let's take a look at this real quick here. And it looks like Ars Gotia had the ball 50% of the time. Let's see if there's any deaths. Yeti to Conquer took 7 casualties and 2 deaths. That was brutal. Ars Gotia picked up, probably about 20 skill points compared to 9 to Yeti to Conquer. Let me take a quick look.
Now it's gonna be interesting to see how Yeti to Conquer fares after the damage comes in, which was something we were thinking about at the start of the season. We know they're gonna do well, but
yeah,
how will they do after the damage comes in?
Ouch. Yeti to Conquer threw 21 skulls versus only 8 pals. Yikes.
Wow.
But 26 both down, or defender stumbles. Let's see. Ars Gotia, pretty average dice there, so I don't see anything that really stands out other than Yeti to Conquer's armor failing 51% of the time. But you kind of expect that once people have Mighty Blow. You're going to start dealing a lot of damage. His injury rolls, though, were terrible. I mean, only holding up 40% of the time. So 60% of the time he was getting injured. Brutal. Did you watch this game?
Yeah.
All right, tell us a little about it.
So the Nars went for Cheney, the star player, as an inducement. They tried to pressure the backfield right away, and then Cheney just gets exposed and removed. Like, I think it was the second turn. So the Chaos at cage, and they eventually advanced to the side, but the Ulf, Werner, and the Yeti kind of stopped them because it's a lot of strength over there. And the ball is eventually served. The Chaos recover again, but Ziazera fails a GFI to score yet again. I think it happened last week. Like, he won in 36 to GFI, and this week it happened again.
Yeah.
So we go to second half with a 0-0. Ars Gotia kills the Ulf Werner right at the start. It was the rookie one, but he's trying to rebuild the Ulf and just died again.
Yeah.
Then the Nars, they have the ball. They go to the sideline. Chaos gets a dodge and sacks the ball. I think Chaos eventually recovers. They get sacked, but they are able to score nevertheless because they already got some removals, and you get numbers. It's easier to recover from these tough situations. Then the Nars try to turn touchdown, and they can't do it. They end up suffering some more damage at the end.
Beastman and a lineman, so they both pick up MVP. Overall, I mean, kind of the result we expected. It's a lot of Mighty Blow, just beating on a lot of Armor 7.
Right.
It's going to be ugly.
The good news is it's over. You don't have to play against the Chaos again.
Yeah. Yep. You got out there with a loss, but I mean, you did lose. How many players did you lose? 2 deaths. I don't know which players those were, but that's a bummer.
Yeah, one of them was a rookie, and I think it was in this game that Drax, the killer, got an eagle as well. So now he's AV6 and has an eagle, and I'm wondering how long his career is gonna be.
Yeah, he's getting close to retirement, I think.
I think so.
All right. Well, let's take a look at our next matchup here. We've got We Chillin' 1-1 draw against the Grody Greens. Now, I can safely assume you watched this game. Let's take a look at some stats here. Grody Greens, 50% ball possession, 13% in their half, 12 in your half. Let's see, any injuries or deaths. 3 casualties and 6 KOs We Chillin' took, compared to only 1 KO and 1 KAS for the Grody Greens. Looks like they just punched on you and kept punching on you. Let's take a look here. We Chillin'. Dice rolls for so far look okay. I don't see anything that really stands out. Let's see your block dice. You didn't have very many. Let's take a look at the Grody Greens. Average block dice and his. Let's see, injury. Hey, you tried to injure him like 9. You threw 9 injury rolls, but only had 2 go through. So what happened in this game, Charles? Tell us a little about it.
Oh, it was funny that I criticized Rolfer on the recaps for doing some greedy blitzes.
Yeah.
Now, against Nurgle with only 1 killer and no bench, I kind of reached to try to Mighty Blow hit that guy.
Yeah.
And by the way, the 2 teams got a bribe at the start just to increase the damage I take, of course.
Sure.
So the plan was to throw a GFI to be able to 2-die blitz the killer, and then it would be on the ground with a hit with Mighty Blow. Maybe I get lucky there, or maybe I can even stomp him and take him off, and then Nurgle wouldn't be able to deal damage without that guy. But of course I failed the GFI, and then I rolled dub skulls on the blitz, and then it was a struggle. I really felt the ball was kind of protected, so that was maybe what saved me there, because the opponent wasn't just able to get it off, but the game got really weird. That beast, strength 6, you cannot get away from it. I think I misplayed once or twice, allowing him to base more players than I should. And then my offensive drive, the ball was sacked. I think twice. Was the first time this season that happened. But I ended up just blitzing with the frenzy to get away from the beast and scoring. The opponent actually has a chance to score with something like 3 turns, but can't do it. And then on second half, I could have been more aggressive with the wizard. I got into a situation where I had kind of an easy 1-die at the ball, or I could lightning bolt and try to recover from wherever the ball comes in. I decide to keep the wizard for later and go for the 1-die because the ball carrier didn't have block. So I get pushes and get a push, re-roll into a push again, and then I get frenzy trapped into reds, which I don't mind because it's another chance to put the ball down, but there's a skull there. And the opponent, to their credit, they really didn't let me have a good wizard after that. They just I was never able to get positioning again to have a good wizard, so I try to make it difficult for them, but they just go for the draw and they get it.
Right. Your tentacles rolls, you failed 9 times, succeeded once, so you were stuck in the mud for a while, it looks like.
Yeah, but that's about average because that strength 6 beast is so good.
Yeah.
I think you have just a 20-some% chance of getting away. I got 10%, so about close to what you would expect.
What you would expect. Let's take a look at Ace Trucking Company versus One Cheese. Let's see, 3-3.
Yeah.
That was an amazing game. Now I watched this game, but I don't remember. I just remember. I don't. Man, this was so long ago. I remember Ace Trucking Company. I remember thinking, man, they're never gonna tie this up, and they tied it up. And then Cheese went ahead, and then I thought, well, that should be it. And then Ace Trucking Company just kept getting removals and removals, and it just kept rolling downhill from there. But I don't go into as much detail as Charles does because I'm old and I can't remember things. Let's take a look here. Armor. Anything interesting stand out in the statistics? Rolled pretty good for his dice there. Block dice. Really a lot of skulls on his block dice. One cheese.
I think the injuries must have been bigger than average because there was a lot of damage there.
Well, his armor rolls were terrible. His armor for one cheese only held up 38% of the time, and then of those times it broke, it only held 51% of the time he was getting injured. So he was getting a beat down, that's for sure. Let's take a look at Ace Trucking Company's armor held 50% of the time, which is kind of amazing. You'd think it would be a little higher than that, but his injuries held up, so he didn't take a lot of injuries. So let's take a quick look at deaths. Casualty, there we go, 10 casualties and 3 deaths. I do remember this was just a beatdown, but just being amazed that one cheese was able to stay into it. But I mean, Skaven can score with 1 or 2 turns whenever they want to, pretty much. So 3-3 tie, that was amazing on both coaches' ends.
There was a big passing play at the end for the Charves to get the draw. And that was kind of rubbing salt on the wound because the Reds had already lost their one-turner at the end, and then to see the opponent get some not very likely score to not even get a win out of that sucks.
I just remember all the both down results the Chorf coach rolled, and I think I'm gonna go look at that play of the game. I think that was our play of the game for this week. I'll take a look in a minute here. Let's take a look at... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was when the Reds went 2-0, and I thought the game might be over, but
stuck with it. Kept removing people.
How many blocks did those Reds take?
Oh, let me go back and take a look here. Sorry. Statistics. The blocks, 44 blocks they took.
Yeah, that's a bit much, but when you score 3 times, you have to line up to get hit 3 times, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
The only problem is of those 44 blocks they took, 10 were casualties and 3 were deaths and 4 KOs. So Ace Trucking Company came out to send a message that they'll just bash you to death if they have to. That'll be an interesting matchup for him next week when she's going forward. Let's take a look at Bring Out Your Undead. 1-1 draw against Stump Force. Now, did you happen to see this game?
Oh yeah.
All right, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, it was another good result by the Stump Force because they look kind of out of it by week 3.
Yeah.
And then they get that big win over Ziazera, and now against Camry, you would usually expect Camry to be a favorite because of the strength, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they get a draw. So I think like the Dwarves, they got based by the Tomb Guardians, but they dealt well with the strength because I guess that's what the team is built to do because of the Death Roller and Dauntless.
Yeah, Dauntless is really firing here, it looks like in the stats. They only failed 4 times out of 12, so 66% success rate with Dauntless.
Yeah, and that's a strength 3 versus strength 5, which makes it more difficult. The Camry, they are actually able at some point to get a 2-die on the ball, but they just get pushes. Since the opponent was, I think, Blodge, they decide to not reroll. And then later they actually are able to do some... They kind of lose position because the Death Roller keeps opening up the middle of the pitch, and they keep Dauntless putting Tomb Guardians on the ground. And eventually they can do a 4+ dodge into a POW to sack the ball, but the Dwarves, they just have the center of the pitch control, they recover, and they score. And then second half, I actually like to see what Randomat did because he goes for the win. He just shows up and scores in 3 turns, not much happening in that drive, he just moves up, scores. And then on the Dwarf drive, the Camry is actually able to sack the ball, but it's not going to be easy to recover and then score. They don't even set up a scoring threat because there's no time.
Interesting.
very close.
Yeah, looks like the Mad's luck just kind of ran out. Let's take a. Oh, he's such a lucky noober. He knows it though. Bogue Bombers 1-2 loss to the Boss Hog Outlaws. Let's take a look at some statistics here. Boss Hog 81% ball possession. That's amazing. Let's see. I don't see anything that stands out here. 7 KO sustained, 5 casualties sustained versus 3 and 4. No deaths. Nice day pickup for Boss Hog Outlaws. Did you get to see this game?
Oh yeah. The humans do well to focus the Turf Killer. The Boss Hog Outlaws is the Turf team that currently doesn't have that much kill power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the humans focus foul the Turf Killer, and they get a dead, but then the Apothecary turns it into an eagle. So well done by the humans there. Everyone's happy.
No, nobody's happy with that.
It's just an eagle.
Yeah, okay.
If you like death, the improves the chance of death, so
Sure.
that's cool.
All right.
But the Charps, they end up getting a lot of removals, and the humans don't really find a good time to get a wizard. It's difficult. And the Charps kind of disrespectfully score handing off to a blocker on turn 8. So
Ouch.
yeah, they're trying to build those blockers back, and I can understand why. The humans on the second half, they just sideline Cage and they score 3 turns. The problem is they get 1 casualty on each of those turns or something like that.
Mhm.
So they eventually get another block out, but the Charves are able to safely advance. They do some more damage. The humans can't even form a proper screen because they're just getting punched and removed. They do get a good fireball, but they are not able to sack because they fail a GFI. And I think at some point they get a sack on red dice, but still there's so many Charves, and they eventually just are able to score on another blocker.
Oh. So good day of
Yeah.
skill point pickups for the Boss Hog Outlaws, it looks like.
And right when I gave up on the Boss Hog and didn't pick them,
Yeah.
they win. So maybe I was cursing them.
Maybe you are. Yeah. Let's take a look. Romanian Rebels 1-1 draw against Blighty Moes. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, another draw.
Yeah, nice.
A lot of draws this week.
But against a Nurgle team, so I mean, and Romanian Rebels is a fairly new team. Let's take a look. Did you get to see this game?
Mm-hmm.
All right, tell us a little about it.
Yeah, the Nurgle go straight away to try to surround the elves to get those claws to good use. But the elves are able to the ball is not really that protected. They just dodge away and get a sack. They recover the ball, but then they won in 36 the dodge away, and that's where the game got problematic for them. The Nurgle recovers, the ball is sacked again, but the elves fail to recover, the ball is on the ground, and then the elves try to scatter it next turn, and they get them skulls. So after all that work, Nurgle still scores. That's a 1-0. Then the elves on their turn, they get the ball to the sideline. They are able to get a serve from there, but they let the ball carrier get served. This is where dump off kind of was useful because it didn't let the ball get served by the crowd, right?
Yeah.
So the offensive team kind of chose where the ball would be. Then the elves recover, they move back, and they start switching from side to side, trying to find space because the Nurgle is overwhelming them. At one point, they opened that space with a big fireball. Very good roll. I think it took like
3 of them
3
out.
or 4 players
Yeah.
down. 3 of them, yeah.
Yep.
and they get free and score. That's a 1-1.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the last really damaged team Moroffer is gonna face. So
You
I
should
expect them to get some wins up into the end of the season.
you should talk to the coach of Romanian Rebels because his tentacle results. He was successful 6 times, so he had a 42% success rate. So he might be able to
Oh.
teach your team how to get away from tentacles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah. Murdery Space Elf Troop versus Gourmet Governors. Now, I think we were both wrong on this one. Let's see. 1-1 draw. The Gourmet Governors, interestingly enough, had a 62% ball percentage, ball possession. Did you see this one, Charles?
Yeah, a great game by the Gourmet Governors.
Yeah.
They just had a very solid, methodical offensive drive. They trade blitzes, they keep the ball safe, and they keep advancing. One thing, Bloodlust basically didn't trigger first half. I don't remember if there was even once that it failed.
Okay.
And they end up not suffering much damage, not really getting into trouble. They go 1-0 on turn 8. And so the elves show up, they get the ball sacked right away. Like the vampire team gets 2 good hypnogases and just sack the ball.
Yeah.
So the elves get in trouble. They recover the ball. They try to move away, but they are sacked again with some GFI involved or something like that. And then the ball is sacked a 3rd time, but this time the vampires are the ones who recover the ball, and they end up on the elf backfield. The elves do sack the ball, gets a little bit crazy, but a vampire catches the scatter, and all he needs is a GFI to score, and then a 1 in 36 GFI. Ball gets on the ground. That would be the game, right? The vampires would win with that 1 in 36. The elves get another sack, and it falls right in a witch elf's hands. So without a reroll, they don't even have to roll for a pickup. And then they hand off. I think they pass, and they score in 2 turns with no reroll. Very painful for the vampires, I imagine.
No, bummer.
Yeah,
that sounds like a
but
good
they
game.
did play very well.
Nice.
I really like what I saw.
Yeah, a lot of good statistics all around here, and doesn't look like anybody got diced in this one. Cool. All right, I think that is all of the games. Yep, that is all the games that we got to see this week. What we'll do is we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with our leaderboard, our pound for pound segment. And welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is our pound for pound segment. We take a look at the leaderboard, who's on top, who's on the bottom, who's moving, who's not moving. Once again, we find Ziazetta's Ars Gosha back in the top spot with 4 wins.
Yeah.
That's only 1 loss. They're just so powerful. Yeti to Conquer really took a beating that game too. So this second week, he's gonna have some trouble, I would assume. Motley's Murdery Space Elf Troop. I don't remember them being this high, but they're moving. They're in the top 3. Can't complain.
They've been closed for a while.
Yeah.
Now they move into the playoff spot.
Now the wild or the dark horse team, I would say, that nobody expected to be up here in the 4th spot. We chillin'.
Yes,
And-
because I was not even in the division.
Yeah,
so
no-
literally,
Who could have predicted that? Yeah, not
Yeah.
me. I didn't even think they had Blood Bowl in Brazil, but apparently they do. Let's see. Rounding out the middle section, Rankin, Ace Trucking Company, Gourmet Governors, and the Boss Hog Outlaws. Towards the bottom of the barrel, our Nurgle, Skaven, Human, Dwarf, and Dark Elf team. Boy, what are we at? The midway point? We're really close to it now. So I guess this is the point where you got to start deciding, are you going to keep going for it? Maybe if you've got 2 wins, you can still make it.
I think the answer is yes, because this division is so close right now. There's been a lot of draws, and a lot of people can still get into playoff contention. It's just so close.
Yeah. Except for you, Romanian Rebels. Let's just be honest here. you're 0 wins. You're gonna struggle, but if you want to keep going for it, throw a lot more touchdowns because you only need to get 8 to get back up into the top touchdown differential. So,
but the hard part of his schedule might be over. I think he's settling in and performing better recently. I hope
yeah, we hope
he's
so.
gonna get some wins.
All right. What we'll do is we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back with our main event and our undercards. And welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is our main event and our undercard series. We take a look at the week's matchups. Charles picks who he thinks is the main event. And each week now we're going to bring in one of the coaches from the division who will talk about his picks, who he thinks is going to win, who he thinks is going to lose. This week on our show we have Orifer. Welcome to the show, Orifer.
Thank you.
And what
Hello.
team do you play?
I play the Romanian Rebels.
The Romanian Rebels. That's a Dark Elf team. So
Yep.
you and Charles will have a lot to bond over.
Yes.
Everybody knows that I hate all elves. How you doing with your elves so far this season?
Pretty woeful.
Okay.
2 and 3 or something horrible like that.
Now,
Bottom of the division.
Last season you did pretty well, right? I mean, you made it to the playoffs?
Yep. Yeah, I
And
got.
you got boosted up here with a kind of underdeveloped
Well, I made
team.
the Challenger Cup. I won a few games there and then got jumped up
Right.
a few
Yeah.
seasons too high.
Yeah, a little bit too high, but it's a learning experience. Charles,
No, it's great.
Charles, you were like that, weren't you? You were bumped up kind of high, or you'd missed a season.
Yeah, mine was a bit different because I stopped playing a season and then they put me up as if I was a much older team. So when my second season, I was in a division equivalent to this one. So everybody had basically double the amount of games that I had.
Yeah.
But I survived.
You're still here.
Yeah, and the Romanian Rebels actually are surviving well. I think they are through most of the Bash teams.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm through the worst of it.
All right. Well, as
Not
soon as you
that
say,
every team can't kill somebody.
yeah, I was gonna say as soon as you say that, you're gonna lose a few pieces now. Charles, who do we have up for the main event pick this week? Let's take a look.
Oh, we got Yeti to Conquer versus Bring Out Your Undead. I think it's two teams very high on the table and two great coaches. I'm very curious to see what comes of it.
Yep. Yeti to Conquer comes in at 1590. Bring Out Your Undead at 1790. Let's take a look at both teams and see. Berserker is out. Oh, this is his main kill. Berserker, it looks like, is out for Yeti to Conquer. And Bring Out Your Undead. Ran the Mad comes in completely healthy. Since we have a guest on the show, why don't we let our guest pick who he likes to win this matchup?
I think I would pick the Camry, both because they got the healthier team at the moment and just because he's had that incredible string of luck.
Yeah, you can't beat luck in this game. I've noticed.
No,
that.
when you're playing well and getting lucky, you're hard to beat.
Yep, absolutely. I am going to agree. I hate to pick Ran the Mad to win anything other than a cup of warm pee, but it looks like he's gonna win this one. So I'll let him take that one. Charles, who do you like in this one?
I'm gonna disagree from you guys. I think the Norse, they have some strength and Dauntless, plus that Yeti can get some claw mighty blow hits, and they get inducements. So playing against a wizard with Kenry might be a problem. And even though I like what Randomat does, I think this is not gonna be his game.
All right, I still say it's better to be lucky than good. So we'll see how that one turns out. Who do we have up next? Let's take a look here on the list, Charles. Who's your co-main event?
It's Arsgotia versus We Chilling.
Now, We Chillin', that's a team from Brazil, and this is the second week in a row they've been in the main event. What's going on here, Charles?
Oh, it's a completely unbiased process of deciding, and it's technically one of the best matchups around.
I don't think the rest of the division sees it that way, Charles, but let's take a look here. Arsgotia at 2150 and We Chillin' at 1670. Quite the difference in TV there. Let's take a look at Arsgotia is missing a Beastman who's got strength up, claw, but not a big deal. And We Chillin' comes in missing a Blitzer and a lineman. So, Charles, I'll let you pick this one first if you'd like to give a prediction.
It's so much TV difference and so much blood. Um, I think I do have a chance to pull out a draw, even though I don't really want to draw, but it seems like it happens often. But when in doubt, I'm gonna pick the murder chaos. Seems to be a good way
Yeah.
of looking at things.
I'm going to agree with you. I am going with Zia Zeta for a 2-0 win. I don't see you doing anything against all this Mighty Blow frenzy nonsense he's got going on here. Orifer, you're a Dark Elf coach. How does We Chillin' pull off a victory here?
Well, unlike me, he's got some agility and leap, so I think that's his main hope is get a good use of the wizard, grab the ball, and get the hell out of there. But even with that, I think I got to pick Arzgosha.
Yeah.
Just the amount of claw palm.
Yeah,
it's gonna take
that's where the smart money is on. All that power, just punching elves to death. Sorry, Charles.
But he's got a chance to win, for sure.
He really doesn't. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
here.
hopefully the wizard wins it for me. Maybe a big fireball taking off everyone with casualties.
Well,
then
I guess if a mummy can pass for a full court pass, anything can happen. So, yeah, I guess anything could happen in this game. Let's take a look at our next one, the Grody Greens and Ace Trucking Company. Grody Greens, Nurgle come in at 1870, Ace Trucking at 1820. Nice even matchup there. Let's take a look and see who's injured, who's out. Completely healthy team for the Nurgle team, and a lot of people missing. Ace Trucking Company missing 2 blockers and 1 hobgoblin. Yikes. The one thing I know about Chaos Dwarves is when you're missing a blocker, you can't really make that up with a hobgoblin because it just stinks. So, I mean, for me in this one, just looking at that lineup, I'm going with the Grody Greens without even looking at their record right now. What do you like, Charles?
Yeah, it's 2 murder teams facing each other on similar TV, as you said. So I'll be siding with the one that has regen and a strength advantage.
Yeah. Or who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go with the extra claw that Ace Trucking Company has.
Oh, blindsiders
He
with
wins
that
the
pick.
toss,
Nice.
he's going to take him out.
All right, that'll be interesting.
Making things interesting.
Yeah, that very well could be. But since the TVs are already even, I don't see how they pull it off with just 4 blockers on the pitch. But stranger things again have happened. Let's take a look next at One Cheese versus the Bogue Bombers. One Cheese, the Skaven team, coming in at 1410. Bogue Bombers, the wannabe dwarf team, but really a human team, coming in at 1570. Let's see if anybody on One Cheese. They're missing a blitzer and a lineman. And the Bogue Bombers missing 1 lineman. So fairly even teams here. I think in this one, I'm going to go with Bogue Bombers. I really like what B-Dog has done so far with the human team. I think he'll have an easy time pushing One Cheese around, and he's a really good coach. Nothing against One Cheese. Rex Longbone is also a very good coach, but I'm just going to give the advantage to the Bogue Bombers in this one. What do you like, Charles?
It's 2 teams that are close to each other. It would be easier for me to pick the Reds if they still had that 1 turner.
Yep.
But I'm still siding with them to pull it off. I think they can do it.
All right. Orifer, who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go with the Bombers. I think they'll be able to pull it out.
I think one of the problems the Rats have is their gutter runners. They don't really have everybody with a defined position. I mean, they've got it's like 1 rookie on here, 2 head player, a wrestle player, but they don't really have like a leaping strip ball, crazy gutter runner that comes in and just does what he wants. So
yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yep.
They're
he's a
hard
season away from getting it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's take a look at our next matchup. That would be Stump Force versus the Romanian Rebels. Now, we have the coach of the Romanian Rebels here.
Yes.
That's interesting. You know, we should ask him, what does Romanian Rebels mean? What is that?
So I come out of an odd sort of tabletop background where we have these various league rules that don't make a whole lot of sense. So at some point I got fed up and quit, and well, I didn't really quit, but it played less and joined Rebbl. So the Romanian team was my team in the other league. So the Rebels is because they left and joined another league.
All right then. Now we know. Stump Force coming in at 1870 and Romanian Rebels coming in at 1800, so a nice close game. Although Stump Force has 40k that they have to burn off in cash unless they're saving up for something here. Let's see who's healthy. Stump Force looks completely healthy, and the Death Roller is back on the pitch. Romanian Rebels come in, just missing a lineman. Everybody else seems healthy. Oh, this is gonna be a good matchup. Who do you like in this one, Charles? Or actually, let's let Orifer pick first, so
Yes.
that way we don't embarrass him.
That's not fair.
Yeah. Now, if you've listened to our previous, if you've listened to our previous show, occasionally the Dark Elf coach picks against himself on this show. So feel free to, if you have to, pick against yourself.
I have heard that, and there's certainly games that I would. I think I got a slight chance in this, in that his tackle isn't on his positionals for the most part.
Right.
He's got that one Troll Slayer.
Yeah, his blockers have a lot of. You just got to worry about his blockers. Everybody else, I don't think he has one tackle, does he? No, one Troll Slayer with tackle. Oof.
Yeah, so I think that's my hope. If I can stay the hell away from his tackle and guard, I might be able to maneuver around him.
So what do you think? You gonna win this one 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, 2-1?
Back myself 2-1.
2-1. Interesting.
But I'll expect a 1-all draw.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a safe bet. Charles, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, playing at home is a big deal for the dwarves because of the bribe.
Mhm.
But the elf team does have a dirty player, and whether or not that guy has a big game on the following could change the story of the game. I see this as a draw unless something crazy happens, but since I don't like to pick draws, I'm going with the Elf Brothers.
Oh boy. I hate dwarves and elves in this one. I'm gonna go with the elves in this one as well. I think they can score early, force the Death Roller off the pitch. The bribe will come in handy, and they can force it off again. I think there's too many ways for the elves to stay away from the dwarfs in this one. They won't get caught in a slugfest.
But they don't have a big bench for this one, huh? I think the elves only have 12 people or something.
Yeah, but if you limit them to only one blitz per turn, you'll be fine. You remember that you're the strongest elves, so you can do it. Let's take a look here at Boss Hog Outlaws and Murdery Space Elf Troop. Boss Hog Outlaws coming in at 1800, Murdery Space Elf Troop 1720. Now, was Murdery Space Elf Troop, was that the more fighty elves? I can't remember which of these two elves were the more punchy ones.
They're the one with a ton of guard.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the punchy ones.
And they have the Killer Witch Elf as well.
Yeah, so let's take a look here. Boss Hog Outlaws just missing a Hobgoblin, and Murdery Space Elf Troop just missing a lineman. So that'll be an interesting matchup. For this one, I am going to go with the Murdery Space Elf Troop. I think the elf teams have been giving both Peneskilpala a lot of headaches. I don't think he does as well against the fast, quick-scoring teams. What do you like in this one, Charles?
I wonder if the elves are gonna use the bank to get a wizard. It might not cost them much to do so, and it's an important game.
Yep.
But as it stands, I think the Charves can force those elves to score early and get a 2-1 grind.
All right. Orfer, who do you like?
I think I'll have to go with the 2-1 grind too.
Ah, ha, ha. You guys are both wrong then. All right. All right. Let me take a look at our last matchup here. Blighty Moes versus the Gourmet Governors. Blighty Moes coming in at 2120. Gourmet Governors coming in at 1850, it looks like. Blighty Moes coming in completely healthy, and the Gourmet Governors also coming in completely healthy. All right. Who do you like in this one? Orifer, I'll let you start.
I actually don't know enough about vampires to actually have a good sense of this. I think the Bloody Moes just have so much kill and tackle power that they should be able to overwhelm them.
Let's take a look here.
But I'm not confident in that.
Blighty Moes have, let's see, yeah, a lot of tackle on this team, don't they? 5 tackle pieces on positionals. That's kind of cool. Plenty of block, plenty of guard. Oof, this is going to be a long day for the vampire team. I think you're right. I'm going to go with the Blighty Moes for this one. I'll let Ken get his... I'll pick Ken the one time that he loses, probably. Who do you like, Charles?
Oh, I think the vampire team looked kind of brilliant recently, and that includes a win over the other Nurgle team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with Lumi and the Governors for this one.
You think he's got the hang of it finally, and he's getting it settled in?
Yeah, they had 2 rough games at the start, but they seem to have turned around and they are looking hot right now.
Yeah, when I first watched him play, he was activating his vampires, I thought, way too much and way too often. And I think the last game I watched, he wasn't quite I mean, if you don't have to activate the vampires, they're just in a good position, then you don't activate them. But
And he actually started the season with 5 vampires.
Yep.
When he lost one of those,
he got better.
I think the performances got better.
I think so too.
His bench also got a lot bigger.
Yeah, there you go. More bodies to feed on. Yeah, he's got a huge bench now. You guys make a good point, but I'm gonna stick with Ken. Don't let me down, old man or old chap from England. I speak English too, Charles. All right.
Wait, is he from England?
Yeah, he's from
No,
England.
he's from the east coast of Canada, but it's fun to think of him as being from England.
Hey, I speak
He's
Canadian also.
actually in the same city as me now.
Wait, no, somebody said he was from England or the UK or something.
No, he lived on the east coast, so he played in G-Man.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh,
Those
he's
shifty
spreading
Canadians.
false information, huh?
Yeah, that's those shady guys. All right. Orfer, what are you doing for the rest of the season? Are you gonna get this thing ship turned around, or are you just gonna keep going for development? Are you gonna what's your plans here?
I'm hoping I've turned the corner and got a bit of a handle on the different play level at this division, and I am through the worst of the killy teams. Like there's still plenty of kill left, but there's no 6 mighty blow tackle teams left. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can turn it around.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let me take a look here real quick at your record. What are you doing? Oh boy.
Yeah, I just want to
no wins.
stay in the division is my goal.
Yeah, you know what? Well, actually, it wouldn't hurt to get relegated. I mean, if you drop down to the 3s, it's not gonna be the end of the world for you, and they'll still be playoff spots, but you won't be going up against the top murder teams. Like it seems like in the Division 2s are where all the murder teams seem to land.
Yeah,
So-
it seems to be a lot.
Yeah, so oh well. That's what you get for being so good last season.
Yeah, should have thrown a game or two.
Yeah, sure.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's my excuse. I just throw games because I don't want to go to the playoffs. You're right. Good thinking. All right. Anything else, Charles?
Yeah, talk to us a little bit more about your experience on high levels or the lack of, and what are you looking to improve in the rest of the season?
So I basically have no experience playing high-level teams. So the previous league I played in, Bands, Chaos Dwarfs, Chaos, Nurgle,
Oh,
Necromantic.
They
So
ban them?
yeah,
Why?
so they're not allowed to. There's one Chaos Dwarf snuck through. and
Why
then
do
got
they
rid of-
ban them? What's going on? They just don't like
Some
pixel hugging or model hugging?
claw. Yep. Some of it's
Okay.
pixel hugging. They banned it because of the claw. And
No.
some of it's because it was originally based on a D&D campaign. So if they can't fit the race in, then they didn't want them.
No, that sounds fun.
So that means I got very little experience
Yeah.
against that.
Gotcha.
Played baby Nurgle, but not developed Nurgle.
Oh, that's fun. No, that
Well, it
sounds-
means every game's a little interesting.
yeah.
A little new.
I guess if you could
Something
just
new.
have a passing league, that's all you do, and just everybody passes and has fun. Cool. And then what was your other question, Charles? What were you saying?
and what kind of stuff he's trying to improve as a coach or on his team to prepare for next season?
One is just getting more experience against different types of teams, so I have a better understanding of what to expect and sort of know what it actually means to face a bunch of claw palmers, because that's also relatively new for me.
Yeah, that's
That's gonna
So
be
developing that, and then the play level in Division 2 it's much more intense.
And
And
then,
it's interesting too, because you're for the first time I'm playing against people that seem to play for a draw. They're not necessarily pushing for a win.
oh yeah, yeah. I guess
yeah.
a draw is still good. I mean, because it's not a loss, so that's one of the things.
Yeah.
And then Charles,
In
what-
other divisions, it's a little more.
yeah, it's
And by the way,
Go for it.
I'm the draw champion right now. If anybody wants to draw more than me, they're gonna have to work a little bit better.
yeah. And then Charles, when you play your Dark Elves to survive, did you take a lot of fend? Was that your thing for a while?
No, but I like Fend on the AV7,
Mhm.
which is a point of contention. A lot of people on the Dark Elf Discord channel don't like to see that, but they also lose one each alpha season, so
Yeah.
that's on them.
Yeah, well, I know as a kill bash coach, I hate going up against Bretonians because of all that stupid fend. It means I can only get one hit on them every other turn, so it's just annoying.
Yeah, if the player is special, I think about sound harder, but I wouldn't just take it on alignment.
Yeah, of course. And how do you like your time in here so far, or for this is your second season?
Third season overall.
Third season. How are you liking it so far?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, good.
People are really good about sharing tips and helping you along, and that's makes it a heck of a lot more fun even when you're losing.
Yeah, and one last important question is, why did you pick those ugly uniforms? I'm just kidding.
Because I knew I'd one day encounter you.
You knew it. You knew it. Good job. All right.
Just to piss you off.
Just to piss me off. People do that all the time. That's what Charles picked his outfits for. All right.
Oh, mine are beautiful.
No, they're not, Charles. Let's be serious. Yours are worse than Orifer's. All right. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll come back with our end of the show. Thank you once again, Orifer, for sitting in with us, and we'll be right back.
Hey, got the first one. Let's get that second one. Oh, damn it. Double skulls! Nice. Oh, bro, oh my god. What the fuck? Holy shit.
And welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is our last segment of the show, our outro segment. What we do is we're going to take a look here at the ELO results that Charles has posted on Rebbl News. Charles, anything interesting from your ELO results recently?
Yes, last week was interesting because it was so bad at the picks. There were 5 draws, which instantly takes away from the percentage of predictions in this division, and the other 2 games were upsets actually. So this system got no right pick last time around. Very unpredictable division, which is great.
The interesting thing this week, it looks like you've got Boss Hog Outlaws at only 38% chance at winning here against Murdery Space Elf Trip. That's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, another interesting thing is 67% chance for Yeti to conquer. But then if you look at the race matchup, it's usually a very favorable matchup for Camry. So
yeah,
you can see this as an upset for whoever wins, either because of the rating or because of the race.
Yeah.
And then my game, Chaos and Dark Elf have both beat each other 81 times, so this is kind of a tiebreaker between the 2 races, which makes it more interesting to me.
Yeah, if the Dark Elves are counting on you to get the win here and take them over the top of that, that's going to be a really long day for them. Pack a lunch, guys, because they're gonna be there a while. Because
I'm gonna represent.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's shown what he does to you weak armor teams. He just beats you down, takes what he wants. That'll be interesting.
Watch as that 46 becomes a 47 next week, and then who will be laughing?
Yeah, I guess you'll be laughing, but I don't think that's gonna happen. The one interesting one here is Bogue Bomber's 1 cheese. I almost think I don't think that's gonna be quite as high as you have it here. I mean, the computer has it 60% versus 39. I think it's a lot closer than that, but that's just because I've seen Bogue Bombers play at a much higher level than what's shown there.
And 1 cheese just lost some important pieces, so it might be a good week to upset them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any news around Rebbl that we want to talk about?
We got a big win on our clan match, right?
Yep.
So
it's
it's
not
about
really
time
big
we
news
do...
around Rebbl though, Charles. That's probably big news around our clan for
It's
getting a
huge
win.
news, actually.
Okay, I got huge news. You picked me to lose last week, and I had a draw. So how dare you? Your computer's trash, Charles. All right.
It's doing fine.
Yeah, it's doing better than my picks, though. All right. cool. Couple of games that we're gonna take a look at this weekend. Hopefully, we'll get to pick a few of those up. I know that Rand was just gonna play today when we're recording this, but he had some computer trouble. So hopefully
Yeah.
they get that game in, and hopefully that.
We were
they had a
both
plan.
online waiting for it.
Yeah, you and I were trash talking both of them. So, and neither one of them showed up. So hopefully they get that sorted out, because I'd hate to see them miss a game. If they played this early, this must have been their only day.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. I don't think we have anything else to talk about. Cool. Anything else, Charles?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, everybody have a
Good
good
luck.
game. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.